Howdy, I'm Nancy, and recently I learned that you can't just trust people, any people, at all. You see, even those who appear to like you can plot something sinister and laugh behind your back. My story started when I got invited to study at the most prestigious school in our city. That school doesn't usually take in students from outside. It caters to the rich and wealthy, and people there have to pay a fortune for their kids to be allowed to study. However, the teachers are professionals of the highest caliber. Besides, the school alumni are allowed to enter practically any state university without exams. And I was just a girl from a trailer park. I've studied in public schools all my life and was never considered a star pupil, despite being quite diligent. I just wasn't all that smart. Besides, my mom and I never had much money to begin with. Sometimes we barely had enough to buy groceries. I've got the very best mom in the whole world. She's just kinda unlucky in life, but she works a lot and she devotes all her strength to making my future brighter, even if just a little bit. So, when the officials from the super school hired her as a janitor, she considered herself blessed because Mom's new job was actually really good for my future. School employees were allowed to get their own kids enlisted in that school free of charge. That's how me, a janitor's daughter, came to study at the very best school in the whole state. It felt like a dream come true. At first, Mom and I were super happy. With such an education, I'd be able to enter any university. Marvelous. Of course, there already was one problem. I was quite afraid of my new classmates, you see. I was worried that they'd definitely hate me and immediately start bullying me for being a classless upstart or some such hogwash. Still, I was ready to endure anything for that bright future. It's a good thing that I went because it turned out I was wrong. I guess rich kids are no different than actual kids from poor families. Nobody bullied me, nobody hated me, they just kinda ignored me altogether at first. I wasn't really offended, though. Kids in any school do a lot of watching at first when they get a new classmate. Besides, I looked and honestly sounded so different from all of them. I've got old clothes, a funny voice, patched shoes, Mom's old bag, nothing nice and fancy. I clearly looked out of their league. But then a miracle happened. I had just gotten used to being an outcast and all, but those rich kids appeared to be actually kind of cool. Some of them started talking to me as an equal. First, it was the girls, and then the boys welcomed me into the fold. They helped me get comfortable at school. Two of the girls actually tutored me, and my classmates even gave me free rides home. Though I didn't tell them my real address. I told them to drive to the house closest to the trailer park, but still, it was great. With time, more and more miracles happened. Those two girls I became really close friends with, and they even started gifting me their clothes. At first, I was embarrassed. I thought maybe they were mocking me. But they soon persuaded me that they didn't need these clothes anyway. The boots that didn't fit, the coats that weren't fancy enough, that sort of thing. They gave me jackets, boots, dresses, even several sets of the school uniform. Well, at first I expected some sort of trick. Yet they actually managed to convince me that they were sincere. You see, all those clothes and boots weren't actually new. Some of them were a bit shabby or blotchy. Rich fashionista girls considered them irreparable. But hey, for me it was an easy fix and I was happy to wear it. The guys gave me some presents as well. Of course, they never gave me, clothes or beauty products or whatever. Instead, they clubbed together and bought me a high-end phone, a laptop for studies, and some other accessories like headphones and stuff. The girls taught me how to wear makeup, gave me an opportunity to try many various hairstyles, even invited me to a pajama party where the mother of one of the girls dyed my hair ash blonde and gave me a really cool new haircut. Later on, I found out that mom was actually a fashionable stylist who only worked with stars and was regularly employed in Hollywood. My life became glorious. I could have never imagined it to turn out that great. Of course, Mom warned me not to be too charmed by my new friends, but, how could I help it? Well, sooner or later, every fairy tale has to end. On this particular day, I came to school a bit earlier than usual. Mom and I normally do that because we come to school by bus, so I was usually the first kid to enter the classroom. Typically, I was there about a half hour before the start of the lesson. I often did that time to review work or go over homework or that sort of stuff. But that time, I decided to help Mom by watering the flowers. So when the girls came to class, I was busy watering the pots behind a closet, effectively hidden from their sight, so they didn't hear me when I heard them enter the classroom, and at first I wanted to greet them, but was stopped dead in my tracks when I heard what they were talking about. I heard my name come up. They didn't see me and thought that I was absent, and they were actually happy that the Nightmare Girl skipped school. They were calling me names and insulting me. I was so shocked that I couldn't even move, and they continued with their incoherent ramblings. It turned out that my so-called friends considered me a boogeyman, boogie woman, whatever, of the class. According to them, I was an ugly, clumsy, foul-looking monster of a girl, and even makeup and nice clothes made no difference. They were sure that I was the shame of the class. Turns out that they played the role of my friend so that I couldn't embarrass them anymore, and that they were purposefully working to keep me silent. I couldn't really listen to those cruel words anymore and ran away in tears. I cried in that closet for hours. I'm not too proud of that. And then Mom came and took me home. That very evening, I begged Mom to move me to another school. I never, ever returned to that horrible super school. Even now, when I don't feel all that pain anymore, I still can't understand their reasons. I truly believed us to be friends, and they turned out to be nothing more than a group of malevolent assholes.
Hi all, I'm Barbara, the same rich beauty who, according to the cries of our janitor, ruined Nancy's life. Pfft, that Nancy. My parents always told me that the rich were rich and the poor were poor for a reason, and used to think that all men are equal. I thought so until I met Nancy. When Nancy got transferred to our class, all of us were shocked. You see, we were all somehow acquainted since our very childhood. All of the pupils in our school, from the first graders to the almost alumni. And she looked and smelled. And she looked and smelled as a literal alien to us. It totally isn't an exaggeration. She really was so weird. Makeup today is affordable even for the most poor. And if it isn't, then a sewing needle definitely is. Nancy's clothes were full of holes. She wore zero makeup, she clearly didn't have her head washed for weeks, and she smelled. Our class soon became the laughingstock of the whole school. Still, we tried our best to turn our nightmare girl into a normal-looking creature. I actually never liked her, but Mom always told me that real ladies shouldn't instantly make up their minds. They should weigh out all the pros and cons first. So we tried. Some of us thought that Nancy should have been at least smart if she was unkempt and ugly. Well, unfortunately, it wasn't the case. She studied diligently, yet she read no books and wasn't interested in any extra knowledge. She was a literal zero, a nobody. And an ugly one at that. The girls of our class, me included, decided to help the nightmare girl. We tried to teach her how to dress better, teach her style and makeup. We even gifted her with clothes and cosmetics of our own. Our parents encouraged our efforts. Yet my mom told me not to be too hopeful. Well, Mom was right. Our little nightmare never actually changed. She wore new clothes and new makeup, but somehow remained the same old nightmare, based, ugly, and stupid. All the school was laughing at us. So finally there came the moment when we stopped caring altogether. We gave up and made Nancy the clown everybody was calling her to be. Funny thing is, she was all for it, and we were surprised by that. She saw how we looked. She read all the fashion magazines. She listened to our advice for many months. And still, she was sure that jeans together with a skirt was an okay move, and that she would look good with blue lashes. Was that some exquisite stupidity? Was that some extremely bad taste? I don't know. And then the day came when she learned about everything. Her face looked horrific. We even thought that she was going to take her revenge at us. Well, she didn't, and that was the end of the story. The nightmare girl finally understood that she didn't belong here and moved to another school all on her own accord. And we were free to live a normal life once again. All in all, that's what a happy ending looks like in my book. What do you think of this story of Nancy and Barbara? Leave some likes, tell us your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more new and exciting stories.